Hi, I'm Cristina Headley from Equip for Equality. Persons with disabilities have a right to be protected from abuse, neglect, and financial exploitation. If you are a person with a disability and you are being abused by someone who is related to you, lives with you, or provides care to you, you may be entitled to an order of protection. If you are an individual who is concerned about a person with disabilities who is being harmed, you may also seek an order of protection on his or her behalf. This video describes what an order of protection is, what the order can do, and how to obtain one if you are either a person with disabilities or an individual acting to protect a person with disabilities. First, I'll discuss what an order of protection is and who can ask for one. An order of protection is a written order entered by a judge that prohibits another person from committing abuse, neglect, or exploitation against the victim. There are two types of orders, a civil and criminal order. You may seek a civil order of protection at any time in the civil courthouse in your area. If the person harming you was arrested or you want criminal charges to be brought against that person, you may also report the crime to the police and go to your local state's attorney and ask for a criminal order of protection. The state's attorney should assist you in this process. This video focuses on how you can obtain a civil order of protection. If you are an adult with a disability, you may file a petition and ask a judge to enter an order of protection for you if you have been abused by a family or household member. Another person can file a petition for you if you cannot file the petition because of your age, disability, or you have no way to get to court. If you are an individual concerned about an adult with a disability, you may file a petition on behalf of a person with disability if 1. The person is a high-risk adult with disabilities, meaning a disability prevents or makes it harder for him or her to seek out or obtain an order of protection. And 2, the person has been abused, neglected, or exploited by a family or household member. If the person with a disability objects to you obtaining the order of protection on his or her behalf, the judge will not enter the order unless the person with a disability has a legal guardian and the guardian consents to the order of protection. An order of protection requiring the person harming you to take certain actions and/or not take certain actions. These are some of the things you can ask the judge to do. Prohibit further abuse, neglect, or exploitation. Prohibit the person harming you from entering or staying where you live, either all the time or while the person is taking drugs or alcohol. Order the person harming you to stay away from you, your work, your school, and certain other places. Order the person harming you to participate in counseling, or enter orders regarding any children you have with the person harming you, including orders affecting custody, visitation, care, and access to records. Order the person harming you to provide financial support to you or your child temporarily or pay for any costs you experienced because of the abuse, neglect, or exploitation, such as medical expenses or lost wages. The order may also order the person harming you to turn over firearms to law enforcement. In order to obtain an order of protection, you will need to complete a petition for order of protection and file it with the civil court in your area to start the process. The courthouse should have forms for you to complete. The forms are lengthy, and it is important that you accurately complete them to obtain the protections that you seek. The court's clerk should assist you with this process. Please contact the organizations at the end of this video if you need further help. Some helpful tips for completing these forms include: before you go to the courthouse, write down the names and addresses of the places you want the order to prohibit the person from going, such as work or school. In addition, look for and write down any personal information about the person harming you, including his or her address, work address, birth date, and social security number if you know it. Also, write out a detailed explanation of how that person harmed you, including dates, what happened, and any injuries or harm you experienced. Consider bringing a friend or someone you trust with you to help review and complete the forms. The clerk should not charge you a fee for filing the order of protection forms. You may have an attorney help you with the petitions and appear with you in court, or you may also complete the forms and appear in court without an attorney. Generally, before entering an order of protection, the judge will require you to provide written notice or service to the person against whom you are seeking the order. If you believe that notifying that person may cause him or her to commit further harm, you may ask the judge to enter an emergency order of protection. Emergency orders only last between 14 and 21 days. There should be a section on the petition for orders of protection for emergency orders that you will need to complete if you want the judge to enter an emergency order. The judge should hold a hearing as soon as possible on the same day you file the forms if you want an emergency order. The judge will ask you to explain why you are asking for an order of protection and may ask you other questions to gather more information. If the judge enters the emergency order, a hearing to extend the emergency order or enter a plenary order should be scheduled to occur before the emergency order expires. To receive longer protection, you should also ask for a plenary order of protection. A plenary order may last for up to 2 years. Before the judge will enter a plenary order, you will need to notify the person against whom you are seeking the order, using a document called a summons. The summons should be issued by a court and given by a law enforcement officer. If the person prohibited from harming you is doing something that is not allowed in the order of protection, you should call the police. It is a crime to violate certain requirements in the order of protection. If the person has not followed one or more of the requirements in the order of protection, you may also go to court and ask the judge to find that person in contempt of court. The judge may punish the person who has violated the order of protection by requiring the person to pay a fine, spend time in prison, pay your attorney fees, if any, or perform community service, among other things. For more information, contact the State of Illinois' Domestic Violence Hotline, or you may contact Equip for Equality at equipforequality.org.